Let's go for a hike past heaths and horses in the New Forest, a first-class national park. The Bakerloo line has the oldest trains in everyday public transport service in Britain. Or does it? We start from Waterloo and we make our way to Southampton, where we have a bit of spare time for a pleasant walk through the historic walled city, through Palmerston Park and through the Bargate, a remnant of the city's medieval town walls built after a French raid in 1338 proved the town's original defences to be inadequate. This gate was even used as a prison and a guildhall and was even the home of the town's treasury. We continue on to the Town Quay, the terminal for both the fast catamaran to the Isle of Wight as well as the little passenger ferry to Hythe on the other side of the Solent. We pass the harbour walls with a view over to the container port and past the enormous cruise ships and cargo ships moored at the various docks around the city, including the cargo ship moored here at the site of the old ocean terminal, where ocean liners like the Titanic would have started their journeys towards North America. After the short journey across the Solent, we reach the historic Hythe Pier. Lots of seaside towns across Britain have piers, some of which even have pier railways to save boat passengers the walk to the shore. But this, the Hythe Pier Railway, is the oldest continuously operating pier railway in the world. It's really rather special. The electric train service here started in 1922, and the carriages and locomotives themselves are the originals, dating back a century. It's a real experience, a piece of maritime history and a very fun attraction in itself. It's also 50 years older than Bakerloo line trains, so depending on how you define an everyday public transport service, this is the oldest train in everyday service in Britain. But we're not just here for the antique train ride, wonderful though it is. So let's start our walk from Southampton and Hythe to the coast at Lymington. The New Forest is one of the largest patches of forest and heathland left in southern England, and dates back to 1079 when it was established as a royal forest by William the Conqueror as a royal hunting ground. It was even mentioned in the Domesday Book, the only forest in the realm to be mentioned in detail. Because most of the paths around the heathland were unmarked, it was sometimes hard to navigate our way around, but it's all very pleasant on a gloriously sunny spring day like today, walking through the forest. Soon we reach the Beaulieu River, where we have our postcard and our National Park First Class stamp, showing the ponies of the New Forest National Park. The New Forest is still common land, where the local commoners have what's called rights of common, where they can graze animals around the forests and the heaths. These rights of common are enforced by local officials called verderers, where, unlike some other commons, animal owners have to pay a marking fee to graze horses and cattle, where a verderer's official called an adjuster trims the animal's tail with a specific trimming pattern to show that the fee has been paid. Walking through the heathland with its heather and gorse and New Forest ponies, we reach Beaulieu Heath. During World War II, an airbase called RAF Beaulieu was built here. The airfield perimeter track is still here and formed part of our route from Hythe towards Lymington. It's a classic heath, with wide open spaces and with the gorse bushes stretching all the way to the horizon. After spending a while getting lost in the open heathland, we return to civilization at the very quaint Hampshire village of Pilly. After a few rural lanes, we finally reach the coast again at Lymington Pier, a port with a ferry over to Yarmouth on the Isle of Wight. After these 5.5 hours and 25 kilometres of hiking, we have a very well-deserved drink at the Port Cafe with its views over to the Isle of Wight. We've been lucky with excellent weather on this spring bank holiday weekend, and we've had a very pleasant hike through some of the last bits of wilderness left in England. I hope you've enjoyed this springtime hike through the New Forest. I'll be visiting some more national parks soon, so join me next time for another first-class national park.